What's up, everybody? It's your boy. Me, I'm filming this because I realized what is that on the camera? So I'm filming this video because I realized I hadn't given anybody an update video in a while. Kind of giving an update on and a discussion on what I've done or how my life's been the past little bit. And that's the deal. And that's the funny part. Honestly, there's not much that's happened in my life the past few months since I made one of these. I mean, I did have that little rant where I decided not to make videos anymore. I kind of gave up on it, but I kind of got over it. Kind of missed making videos and decided I was just going to wing it. And I think I even made a video explaining that, which maybe I'll be smart enough to put it as a card. We'll see. If not, I apologize. Just go look for it. It was like my official return or something. I don't know. Nick's official return. You just search my videos. It's fairly recent. But so I have returned, but I guess I could say, you know, I'm now entering the 7th month, no, the 8th month of me living on my own. I have officially been on my own for 7 months, entering the 8th month of living on my own. To me, that's a big deal because I was kind of, not exactly coddled, but I'm definitely a mama's boy, and my parents, you know, I started my business and did everything, so I definitely stayed at home, which was like the smart, awesome thing to do, and my parents were cool about letting me stay, but I decided to finally, it's time for the bird to leave the nest, and wanted to take a risk and see where I was at, and maybe, you know, to some people, I think they would understand this, but it's a big deal that I stay out on my own. It helps me a lot with my self-esteem and stuff, because it's like, hey, I can at least function enough to sustain myself, you know, like, my house is clean enough, it's not falling apart, you know, I earn enough money to stay in the house, you know, so, kind of the deal there, you know, like, I've officially become self-sufficient, and in my mom's words, I've done kind of the last bit of growing up I've needed to, for the most part, as far as growing up into an adult, and so I'm very proud of that. So I guess that has happened in the absence of nothing happening. You know, I mean, I'm still doing personal training. You know, that clients fluctuate, come and go, everything like that. Still in a small town of where I live, Mountain Grove, Missouri, simply because most people know where I live, or know me personally that watch these videos. But if not, you know, small town, Mountain Grove, Missouri, teeny tiny town, like population 5,000. The fact that I'm able to make a living as a personal trainer here is probably a miracle. So that being said, I kind of want to ask everybody a question, have a little bit of a discussion, see if I can't get people to comment on this video and tell me what their opinions on this one issue. And the issue is, should I continue to use my face cam when I game? When I play gaming video, when I make gaming videos and play games. Like whenever I do discussion videos or vlogs, or if I try to come up with a skit again, if I ever do that again, make a skit. I will obviously use face cam, but I was thinking for like gaming, if I want to know everybody's opinion. Like I'm gonna use it off and on for different things and not for different things, whatever I choose. But I just want to know everybody's opinion of whether or not I should use face cam, because I've actually had people comment before on videos say, you know, they were actually nice about it, believe it or not, being a YouTube commenter, but they comment and they were, you know, trying to give me constructive criticism, but they're like, maybe not use your face cam and just focus on your commentary and comedy. And I was like, well, you know, it's a thought. And at first I was like, well, I'm never going to get rid of the face cam, but now I'm kind of considering it since I don't have a green screen. I'd have to repaint this wall, but I don't know if I could have I'd have to look hard for a paint that's reflective enough I could, or not reflective enough, it's too reflective. And I don't want to buy another $60 green screen unless I get rich soon and I feel like I can afford, and it's not that I can't afford it, I totally can, I'm just a tightwad. So if I can make like a buttload of money soon, then I'll be like, yeah, I could buy a $60 green screen again. Kind of the issue there. Or I guess I could go make one, I could go tape a bunch of, poster board together. I might try that. I might just go to the store right after this video, right after I shoot this, and try that. But anyways, so that's kind of the reason I'm debating it, and I kind of went over my own personal pros and cons list of why I would get rid of the face cam whenever when I play games. And so I wanted to go over that with everybody, and then like I said, at the end of the video, or during it, whatever, give me your opinion. I really am like begging for people's opinions just because I want to have a little bit of discussion with my audience. So let's start with the pros of no face cam, and I got them on here on my other screen. One of the pros is less footage. Obviously less footage. I don't have, for those of you that don't know, when I edit, or first of all, I film there's two things being filmed at once. There's the face cam and then the gameplay. Well, when I edit and put the face cam on top of the gameplay, so I'm actually rendering two layers of videos into, so I'm rendering two layers of videos, basically, in layman's terms, turning two videos into one. That's how I'm layering it. So the face cam, what you see of me, is layered on top of the gameplay video. So that's how that works. And so without the face cam, there'd be less footage. It'd be easier to edit, quicker to edit, and it would you'd focus completely on the visuals of the game. The next pro would be more space. Rendering one video instead of two layers of videos would make each file size smaller, meaning I could upload faster and it wouldn't take up so much storage on my computer. Honestly, storage is not an issue now. I just threw that up there because eventually it's going to be an issue, because I'm pretty sure I've almost got 1 terabyte's worth of YouTube videos now. Because I don't keep the scraps, but I keep the final product of what I render and what you see. So since I keep that on file, it's close to 1 terabyte. The next thing would be less strenuous rendering. Obviously, less layers to render. Everything renders faster and it's not strenuous on my computer. I've said in the past that my computer was getting old, but since I fried that motherboard and replaced the motherboard, it has worked smoother than it did before. So I'd say for a while this thing's gonna run almost as good as it did at the beginning. So maybe it's not as much of an issue as I used to think it was. The next one's more filming power. I don't think this one makes much of a difference. I never noticed it with my computer, but I could, the computer would be doing one thing, creating one video file instead of doing two at once. So obviously that would be easier on the computer. This filming and editing is just rough on computers, honestly. The rendering, it just is. Like, it just is. That's all there is to it. The next two was faster uploads, making everything more efficient, which is just like it sounds. Smaller files to upload videos faster, and I'd be able to put videos up faster. Not an issue. It really is an issue. My internet's fast enough now. If I just leave the computer on for a couple days, I can send a long list of videos and have them all upload. Those are minor things. Like I've got more pros than cons, but I think the pros are a lot smaller and more insignificant than the cons are, which we'll get to. Okay, there we go. The last four are probably the biggest issues with the biggest pros of getting no face cam. The first one is lower quality of old games. Now, what I mean by this, and it's going to take me a minute to explain, and feel free to tell me how wrong I am in the comments, but I really don't think I am. What I mean by lower quality of old games is I'm shooting in 720p whenever I do face cam. So what you're seeing right now is 720p. I record in 720p, so everything's in high def 720p. But if you've noticed, I've played Pokemon, the original Pokemon. I've played Super Nintendo games with Nostalgia with Nick. I've played other games from Steam that are very low graphics wise, low quality. They're 8 to 16-bit games. Every once in a while I'll get a 64-bit game. But just for example, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Silver, whatever, or Pokemon Silver, yeah. Pokemon Silver, that's hardly any quality, What Super Nintendo games? Contra, that was not much. Some of those games, the gameplay really wasn't much there. And then I've played others like Slender and Spooky House of Jump Scares that was at least a 3D game, and then Dragon Ball Xenoverse was probably one of the most detailed games I've played. But that being said, I guess what I'm saying there is what I'm trying to explain. Oh gosh, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the explanation here, but basically is I'm filming in 720p. Well, if I render it in 360p, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Same as if I record a very low quality gameplay and render it in 1080p, it's not going to make much difference. That being said, if I played a game like Pokemon and didn't use face cam, there would be absolutely no loss in quality if I rendered it in like 360 or 480p. Unless you have insanely high internet, fast internet, and have set it up yourself on YouTube, most of the time it's going to autoplay at like 360p or 480p. The last few videos I've rendered have all been 480p, and I have sat there and stared at it back and forth. And yes, there is a difference in 480p and 720p, but not as big as you'd think. And I've got a high quality 1080p monitor I'm looking at everything on. Yes, there is a difference when you stretch it all that big and stretch it that big. There is a difference. There is one, but I don't think it's a big enough issue to where it has to absolutely be 720p. Because there have been videos that I've rendered in 720p that were over a gigabyte in memory. And then there's a couple that were the same length, same kind of quality of editing that I rendered in 480p, and they were like 200 meg. So I think the decrease in memory, which gives me faster uploads, is much greater than the decrease in quality of what you see with your eyes. I could be wrong. Some people are going to have different opinions about that. That's my opinion. If I didn't use face cam, I could render in 480 or 3. No, I'm never going to do 360. I won't do that to you. But I could render in 480 right now, be that much faster, and I don't think it'd make much difference, especially with an older game. Now if it's a newer game, like if I play Xenoverse 2, or if I'm playing something that has graphics like that, I will do 720p. This is just for like when I'm playing Pokemon and the really, really old games. When I'm doing the really old games, I want to do 480p just so it goes a little bit faster. And I've realized I can do stuff while my computer's rendering that, because if it's doing 720p rendering, I basically have to sit back and let the computer take care of it. Whereas if it's 480p rendering, I can do other stuff with my computer, whether that's personal training work, because I do that on this computer, business stuff, just playing around on Facebook, or playing another game. So there's that. The other one is no lighting issues. If you haven't noticed, I've had trouble with lamps and stuff, and this room, it's an old house, so when it's cold, it's way cold. That's why when I first moved in November and December, I didn't complain, because it was all just a struggle to stay warm. Now it's the summer, it's already warm as it is, and when you add warm on top of warm, this place heats up to where I'm literally sweating just filming, and it gets nasty, and I don't want to have to deal with it. So that would be probably the biggest pro. That being said, though, the last couple of games, and I've tested this out and decided to film it this way, I have run the air conditioner while I'm filming, and I think the gameplay's own audio will help drown out the low growl of the air conditioner. Could be wrong. Please comment and tell me if I'm wrong and if I'm screwing something up. So if that's the case, let me know. So that's kind of how that goes, like with the lighting and stuff. That's probably the one that affects me the most. I wouldn't say it's the most important, but that's a big one too. The next one is no awkwardness. I mean, I'm sorry, even though I've done this for almost 4.5 years now, I'm still really awkward in front of the camera, and I still do weird things, move around. I kind of chew on my tongue when I'm playing games and trying to do things. So I mean, it's just weird. And if you haven't noticed, which I may have failed at this miserably recently, but I try not to show my nipples in the camera. Whereas if that would take, the no awkwardness out, I try not to show my nipples. I wouldn't have to worry about adjusting everything and like watching it closely, make sure my nipples don't show. And which kind of goes in the last one. I can record, however, you're not going to see me at all, so I can be naked. I could do whatever I want to do, and I'm not saying like, oh, I want to record naked. I'm just using that as a dumb example. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I could, however I needed to be. Like, I wouldn't have to cool the room down beforehand. I wouldn't have to sit here and try to make sure everything's cool and try to get my trash can out of the way over here and have to worry about cropping video. I could just set the computer up, film, and be in a dark room. I wouldn't have to sit here with all these lights that are kind of almost blinding on me. I could just sit here, pitch black dark, and play a game. That's just a thought. the cons, here we go. Less personal touch. That's what I feel like. You've seen Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye. I'm sure you know all those guys. I feel really kind of more connected with them and into the game. Whereas, I've watched TFS Gaming or Game Grumps, and they don't have they usually don't use a webcam unless TFS Gaming is streaming. That's the only time you can see the reaction. Most of the time, if they're just doing the regular gaming and archive stuff, it's no webcam. That's kind of the idea there. There's success is either way. That's why I'm wondering, because I watch a lot of Game Grumps and TFS Gaming as much as I do PewDiePie and the rest of them now. So it's just success happens either way. I was just curious how I wanted to do it and what everybody else thought. Another con is, no reaction. You can't see my reaction, so unless I decide to bring it back out for a scary game, you wouldn't see my reaction. And then, this isn't permanent. That's another thing to remind everybody. This isn't permanent. This is just like, would it be more webcam stuff? Like right now, it's all mostly webcam. Very rarely do I not use it. On occasion, I don't, just because I'm feeling lazy and decide I want to shake things up. Whereas without it, if I decide to go without it, it's just going to be mostly without it. I'll still bring it back from time to time, but it'll just be mostly without it. So, that's kind of the idea there. Also, the other one is it's just my voice, and it's just my voice, which brings the other two all together, is there's no visuals for me, so it is all comedy, it is all my commentary, and I am one man with one working brain, who sometimes his brain tends to zone out and go blank, kind of like how whenever I'm trying to speak, I have to pause a few times and don't know what I'm going to say next. That is where I would be at my disadvantage if I didn't use a webcam unless I brought other people in here to do commentary. But that is so hard to do for a regular basis. To do that efficiently in gaming as of right now, I would have to bring Sabrina over or Ethan or whomever was filming with me. And we would have to spend all day or an entire weekend filming and going hard at it. And making sure I had like 6 or 7 hours worth of film to try to make a series out of it for it to be worth my time. So that kind of brings those all together. Just something to think about. Also, the last thing I thought of was screen space, where, just as another example, I'll put it up here hopefully, is, when I'm playing, I like to use Pokemon Silver as an example because I feel like I've put the most work into visuals there, but you've got my face cam in the corner, then you've got the gameplay on the side, then you've got, like all the Pokemon stuff. I'd have an extra room to put extra things, so I'd have to think of other things, which would not be too much of an issue, but you know what I mean there. So, that is the question. Webcam or no webcam? Leave the comments below, and I want to hear your opinions, and let's get a discussion going. One more time, and I can't reiterate this enough. Either or is fine. It's not making anything permanent. It's just what my majority of content's going to be. And you can be successful either which way. That is the reasoning. I was thinking like PewDiePie, Game Grumps type stuff like that. How I'd want to render stuff. I may have to decide and do my own thing. I may change my mind. You never know. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.